There is a question that I usually search on forum, or I used to get to see in YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and forum there. It actually eventually come to my mind also. How to get money from a car accident without a lawyer. If you have a car accident to claim but do not feel comfortable without hiring a lawyer, or just want to settle that case getting into a legal battle, then you can also follow the below steps. So I'm giving you some steps that you can follow below that will help you to understand that. The first thing that you will need to do is take photos of your vehicle and injuries for future reference. It's important to make sure all license plates and driver's info are recorded, as well as witness names and contact information. And the second one is, then it's best to call the police and file an official report about the crash. They should be able to provide you with an incident number that officially documents the crash. This allows you to follow up within 5 years if necessary. After receiving the police report, request a duplicate copy from your insurance company. You can also file a claim with your insurance company to cover any expenses related to the accident. Keep in mind that if it is not your fault, then you might be responsible for paying the deductible fees towards collision coverage. To check the applicable policy carefully first. There are some steps to filing a car accident lawsuit. The stage of settling a car accident lawsuit includes patrial mediation. Mediation proceedings are meant to settle out case before they go up to trial, where both parties agree on mediation service provided by an important person who will listen to each side story and suggest solution that could potentially resolve the dispute. To some extent, this process lets victim avoid prolonged length battle, which offer them is higher compensation than regular settlements. Therefore, the outcome will only depends on the victim's compensation that they are asking for. Second one is the patrial negotiation. The negotiation stage will victim to ask as much as they deserve from insurance companies, and it also gives them an opportunity to settle their case with either amount between lawyer fees and mediation expense, depending on what is more reasonable for their situation. It is best to go through these steps, because if you grow tired of waiting and decide to take your claim to court, then you will have a higher chance of winning and receiving a large settlement than if you took other steps before it. And number 3 is private investigation. This stage allows you to request information about the defendant, including driving license status, driving history with past accident, address history, and etc. many more. It is good to hire a professional private investigator that I will suggest you in order to having additional information on hand before going to court. A lawyer can do multiple things at a time, and they know what to do and how to do it at their stage from the best. So how to choose a car accident lawyer for judicial proceeding? Finding the right lawyer can be very complicated. There are many difficult types of lawyers that handle all sort of cases. So you will need to find one who is experienced in your type of issue. If you are suing someone for medical malpractice, or if your child was injured due to negligence or at school, then there are specific laws for how the issues must be handled by an attorney. An experienced car accident lawyer in Denmark should have no problem working with judges and mediators on all sorts of cases, including personal injury claims, slips and fall accidents, wrongful death lawsuit, employment law dispute, and contract issue. Once you have figured out what sort of case you are dealing with, try contacting a handful of attorneys before making any decision over representation. It's important to find someone who makes you feel comfortable and is not easy in a rush when it comes time to talk about this case. Once you have narrowed down your choice, then it's time to do some research on the background and experience with similar cases. What's matter most in choosing a lawyer in that they are well versed in dealing with the state's law regarding claims against negligent practice. What matter most is choosing a lawyer is that they are well versed in dealing your state laws regarding claims against negligent parties. No matter what kind of accident your client was involved in, you should be able to take care of them using your knowledge of regulation. The more year of experience under his or her belt, the better he or she will be when representing clients and mediation hearing of trials. An attorney with plenty of experience typically has years-long relationships with local courts and judges who will be more likely to favor their arguments in serious cases. If your client is looking for someone who is experienced with personal injury damages, then they should choose an attorney who is specialized in this area of law. If you want the best possible outcome when dealing with a slip and fall accident or wrongfully death lawsuit, then you will need to find an attorney with years of experience in dealing with insurance companies. For employment issues like sexual harassment or overtime pay disputes, you need an attorney who knows how to handle works law that are different from the state to state. You can guarantee that they have handled these types of issue if they specialized in labor rights variation. When it comes down to it, the most car accident lawyers do not deal solely with car accidents. Because of this, they need to look at their background with similar cases before making a decision about hiring an attorney. What matters most in choosing a lawyer is that they are well versed in dealing with your state laws regarding claim against negligent parties. No matter what kind of accident your client was involved in, you should be able to take care of using them to knowledge of regulation. The more years of experience under his or her belt, and the better he or she will be when representing clients at mediation hearing or trials. An attorney with plenty of experience typically has a years-long relationship with local courts and judges who will be more likely to favor their arguments in serious cases. If your client is looking for if you are looking for a car accident lawyer in Denver, then it's time to start online research for local attorneys specializing in negligence claims for all sorts of accidents. By looking at their background experience levels, you will be able to make an informed decision about hiring anyone you choose. Remember that the accident victim do not have time to question twice. They need someone who will take care of them and their legal issue immediately. The last thing they need is a lack of communication from their lawyer once the insurance companies get involved. If your client case they are anything like the example on this page, then they deserve to hire an elite personal injury attorney with plenty of experience in similar type of cases. So, filing a lawsuit. During the lawsuit stage, your attorney will find the relevant witness and evidence that can support your case against the insurance companies. This process involves lots of paperwork, which could make victim exhausted. Therefore, it is better if they hire an experienced lawyer who knows what they are doing. The settlement negotiation happen when both sides meet up in front of the judges and discuss why they should recover this amount for compensation or anything else related to your victim or your claim. If you feel like you did not get what you deserve, then take an opportunity to file another lawsuit with higher compensation. So number 6 is trial. If the two parties cannot meet up on their own terms, then they will have to go through trial stage. This is when you will hear about both side arguments and make a decision whether or not your defendant was guilty to make the accident. Accident happens in the first place, which ultimately lead to damages being inflicted on your vehicle when it is just minor scratches. If you are planning on filing a claim against someone who caused an auto incident that resulted in injuries, when you reviewed on the following tips that can help reduce expenses while still getting what you deserve. It is best if you focus on legal advice instead of personal injury attorney, because many attorneys provide services either free of charges or for a fee depending upon how serious your injuries are. You should make sure that you hire a lawyer who is specialized in personal injury cases, because they already know what to do when approaching to the court, and they also have experience dealing with insurance companies. The best idea is to go over all your options, including how much you want from a defendant before settling out of court. This way, you can either receive more or less than what you originally planned on asking for in cases the defendant's insurance companies proves that to be unreasonable and uncooperative during negotiations. Remember, the best time for filing a lawsuit is after 10 days, but it doesn't hurt if you start preparing for this process long before knowing if someone hit your car or not, because this means that no one else will get able to file a claim for this vehicle, which is why it's best if you are hired an experienced lawyer as soon as possible. Thank you. This is the end of my thought. Hope you will like this video, and please like, comment and share.